You know, when I was a freshman at the university, I don't even know how to describe my first semester. But my second semester, I took a survey course in the English department, and a mentor told me that they thought I should be an English major because I had an affinity for it. Fantastic. Now I knew what I was doing. So I took the next semester a survey course in early English literature. I was all excited. I went to the bookstore and got all my books, and I showed up for the first day of class. Hadn't looked anything over before class, but I said, okay, open this first novel. And I'm sitting on the front row, like I do. I opened up this novel and I went, I don't even know what they're talking about. I couldn't even read a sentence and make, what is this? What have I gotten myself into? Well, then that patient mentor that I had taught me how to read classic literature. And once I read classic literature, I began to appreciate the flow of that literature. Characters that are so beautifully described, they might as well be standing right in front of me. Plots that reveal so much about the time in which they were written. Just a whole world out there of the written word. But classic literature requires some finesse to understand. Now the times have changed. We're in a new modern world. We have some computer options available. And here's what I recommend students do. When you when you open up the PDF that shows you all the choices of classics that you might want to pick, and then you're going to lock down that choice that you have selected, you will see a little snippet of each one of the novels. I've only put in the good ones. I haven't put in any of the classic novels that are like, everything in there is just, they're fantastic. So when you select one, you read the little snippet and you think, that's the one I want to do, you'll go lock it in the discussion board. And then I want you to do this. I want you to find the ebook. You can find it free online. I've given you some links. Hopefully they work, but you know how the internet is. You might want to end up going to Google and saying free PDF for, and there are a lot of organizations that provide Guggenheim Press and that provide free resources. Okay, so now you got your novel and you're looking at this, and you may be like me going, I don't even know. And what I do and I recommend is go to SparkNotes. I like Cliff's Notes, but I think SparkNotes really has better articles. And you'll find just a summation of that novel. Read the summary. Now you know what the novel is about. If it's one that's particularly difficult, Shakespeare, some other writer that it's difficult beyond just the summary to know what happens, then when you get to the chapters of the novel, go to SparkNotes, look up that chapter summary, and read the summary, and now you know what the chapter's about. When you know what it's about, you won't go into a brainstorm where you're going, and you just, everything's just like the words are just dancing around and everything just becomes mushy. Once you know what the chapter is about, then you can read it and appreciate the language because you already know what's going on. And after you do that for a few chapters, do it as many as you want. Do the whole book that way if you need to. Look at the summary that's in SparkNotes and then look at the text and appreciate the beautiful literature. And you will come to find that after a while, you won't need to use those summaries as much. You'll be into the cadence of that particular novel. It always works for me. I hope it'll work for you. If that doesn't work out, then feel free to contact one of the librarians, or you can email me and we'll have a Zoom session and we'll go over it together. I'm here to help you. I want you to appreciate and enjoy classic literature, not think of it as boring and stupid and, oh, why do I have to do this? The reason you have to do this is because this is a survey course of literature. This is an upper division critical thinking course that involves a survey of all kinds of literature. And instead of having everybody read the same thing, which I have never agreed with because you like different things, I have selected only the best of the best, and listed those as possibilities for you to choose. Sometimes you just have to trust me that if I put it on the list, it's an excellent, excellent story. And so I don't want you to be, ugh, about this assignment. I'm taking you through step by step through the process. After you read the novel, you're going to be writing a short essay. And I'm taking you through step by step how to write that essay. And that will prepare you for the essays that are to come when you write this short essay. Everybody does well on this assignment, in my experience, and I know you will too. Just remember, give yourself a break. Maybe you haven't ever read classic literature before. Okay, well, that's a learning curve. You can't expect yourself to already know how to read classic literature if you haven't been exposed to it before. Neither could I. When I was a freshman at the university, I didn't blame myself because I didn't know how to really read this complex book, and these were Mondo books. But I know how to learn. I can learn. I can get. In those days, you had to go to the store and find Cliff's Notes, and in these days, and I would do that, and then I'd get a study group, and I'd find people to talk to me, and I had a study group like you all have a cyber cafe, and I talked with people there, and I learned how to read these things. I'll tell you what, when I was writing my master's thesis years later, the uh, the professor who was the head of my committee, when you are writing a master's thesis, you have a committee and you're responsible to that committee. They help guide you along the way, so forth. He says the whole point of your master's thesis idea is contained in this one article. One article, not a problem. I run across campus. Now, this is long after school. This is after undergraduate school, almost through graduate school. And I run to the library. I get this article. I take it home. I'm all excited. And I look at it and I went, this might as well have been written in Greek. I was floored. Well, the next day I had a noon appointment with him. So I showed up for my noon appointment with some nice little muffins and some cups of coffee. And I sat down, and it was the most wonderful professor. He had these little round spectacles, and he would look at me over the top of the spectacles. So I tossed that down on his desk and I said, teach this to me. And he taught me how to read it. And after that, all the articles that came made sense. After I got through that first initial push of learning how to read, that was a difficult article, I promise you. So have some fun with this. Take your time going through that PDF. Select a novel that really speaks to you. There are lots of choices. Find one that you just really think you would enjoy without thinking, ugh, why do I have to do this? Think of this as embracing something new and finding something exciting that you can talk to about your friends when you're in polite conversation. Instead of talking about the usual things, you can say, today I was studying the intricate details of the characterization of Hamlet. And I got to tell you, you can have some fun conversations like that. So enjoy this unit. Have fun. I'm taking you through every single step. You won't be walking through this alone. If you need me, email me. We'll have a little Zoom meeting and I'll help you that way. All right, this should be fun. That concludes this tutorial.